All right, today we're going to be back to chest, and I've lost a little bit of strength, I'll be honest, and obviously I've stopped doing bench, just hasn't become worth it for me anymore. And that sucked, but going into it, I really just try and match what I've done the previous days and just really focus on hopefully maintaining the strength I've got. I've got about 11 weeks left, I think. And so, it's something to where I'm just kind of counting the days because I miss benching heavy. I miss that kind of thing. But I'm not a strength athlete. I got to keep telling myself that I'm a bodybuilder, and I have to think like that. I used to play high school sports, and my coaches would always say, you're playing basketball, you're playing football. You don't need to be screwing around, getting yourself hurt when it's not going to help you. So I kind of take the same principle. Something else I've been doing is I've been adding in a lot more cardio in the last couple days. I've been upping it a lot. I've actually hit 20,000 steps as my new goal. 15,000 is a minimum. I've been trying to hit 20,000 in addition to my cardio bike, my elliptical. It might be a lot, but I really just want to shred down. I don't think I'm going to get lean to the point where I would be happy, but with the extra, I'll get closer and I'll feel a little bit better. And I've still been deciding whether to compete in physique or to compete in classic. I just don't know. I've been trying to figure that out. But hopefully, in the coming weeks, I can figure it out because I want to get it done. I want to figure out what I'm doing, figure out my routine. I've been practicing the posing and all, but it's all just a little bit different. So right now, all I'm going to focus on, though, is getting in my pre-workout meal and taking a little bit of caffeine before I go ahead and hit some chest. Chest wasn't too bad today, actually. I felt pretty decent about, how much I lifted. It was kind of tough because, I didn't exactly hit it the way I wanted to, and I could feel that I was a lot more tired. I've been getting to the point where at least on chest and, legs, I'll do one, maybe two free weight exercises, and it has to be at the beginning. I'm running out of gas too much, and that sucks. I time my meals around it and I take my pre-workout, but when you're so depleted and your body's just not in an anabolic state, it's kind of tough to just keep lifting over and over and over again. And so you got to get smarter about it, and that's what I've been trying to do. And I've done an okay job about it. I haven't done a great job, but I've been getting better. And the most important thing is I'm stimulating the muscles so I can keep, the physique that I've got. and cut off the fat. You know, that's why I'm upping the cardio. And, you know, the calories are obviously the same as they've been. But really, you know, the focus has been get the workout in early, you know, when I've got the most energy, when I've got the most food, and then, you know, throughout the day, that's when I'm doing as much cardio as I can. You know, I'm getting my sessions in because I'm not trying to be a cardio athlete. I don't have to go extremely fast. You know, zone 1 or zone 2 is fine. And then getting the steps in, that's it. You know, I can be as tired as I want for that. It's just about getting the time in, getting the steps in, because especially on the, you know, on the incline, you can just set it to a specific setting and you will keep going. Unless you physically, you know, make it slower or faster, you're gonna go at the same pace. So it's not really an issue for me, you know. It's just been about getting it when I've got the energy and when I've got the food. So I'm gonna get the best workout in I can, and then the rest of the day I've just been eating as much voluminous stuff as I can, so I'm not, you know, starving, hungry, you know, and then sleeping. You know, it's getting tough, but I don't wanna disappoint myself. You know, I literally saw a video today on one of my you know, on my For You page of a guy who's like, you know, I'm not going to compete in this show. I started out too fat, you know. I'm going to have to do this differently later. And all I could think is, I don't want that to be me, you know. I honestly said, you know, he's probably, you know, leaner than I'll get, and he's deciding not to do it. It's tough. But, you know, I've just got to commit. You know, keep doing the steps. I can't take a day off. You know, no, I haven't cheated or anything like that. I haven't skipped cardio. You know, it's just that it's fearful. You know, you put yourself in a position where you want to win and you want to perform to a standard that you're used to. But, you know, if you're not ready, you're not ready. But I'm not going to let that be me. You know, the worst thing I could do is quit. I'm not going to do that. This time, you know, this is the first time, and am I going to be great? No, probably not. I'm probably going to lose. Probably going to lose bad. You know, my goal is not to get last place, but even if I did, I don't want to quit. That's the worst thing that I could do. So, you know, that's what I keep telling myself. When I'm tired, when my hips are hurting, when my back's hurting, or you know, I don't want to do the cardio, my feet hurt, or something like that, I just remind myself of that. And I say I don't want to give up. That's the worst thing I could do. So I've got about, you know, my cardio's done except for I need 12,000 more steps, and I still got, you know, like 800 calories left. So it's going to be a decent enough day, but, you know, one day at a time. You know, I'm getting closer and closer, and it's scarier. I wish I had more time, but no matter what, I'm going to go out and give it my best. That's all you can ask for. That's all you can do. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for back day and more cardio.